Divaldo Franco by the spirit Joanna de Angelis. And the message says, as much as possible, immerse your mind in study. Study reads the mind of ignorance and provides discernment. Study and work are the wings that foster evolution. Knowledge is the message of life. Studying is not limited to just the classroom, however. Life itself is an open book that teaches all who are willing to learn.
Okay, friends. All right. Feeling your presence, dear God, bringing us together. Feeling your guidance and the presence of the illuminated spirits who know ourselves quite well. We rejoice in gratitude for the gift of life. We have no doubt that life goes on. And we have now the certainty that we progress. But we want to progress with consciousness now, determination, aligning ourselves with your loving embrace and the true invitation for renewal. It's still a new beginning of the new year. And we are willing to transform ourselves. We visualize illuminated hands touching our heads, opening ourselves to new learning. As we also pray for those who have their names in the book of prayer and need help. We ask for your guidance. We feel your protection as you kindly grant us the permission to begin this therapeutic meeting together. And so be it. All right. Our young generation has a wonderful time with Miss Paloma and Miss Daisy. Enjoy, because it's going to be fun all the way. Right? I know, right? They are taking over. Good, so we can do other things, right? All right. But we're still on Earth. It's a new year on Earth. And it's important to feel the new year, the renewal, the power of renewal. Today, when I came to the center, I'll share my message. Because it goes hand in hand. Joanna de Angelis says in the book Happy Life, each day is a new blessing from God, a proof of His love to you. The past is in us, and it's blessed because it brought us to this moment. But now is the moment, the turning point. Tomorrow doesn't exist. We are creating our tomorrow today. Remember telling Virginia one day during this holiday season, and she said, Mom, let's do this tomorrow. I said, tomorrow doesn't exist, Virginia. Oh, no, but tomorrow. I said, but who guarantees we'll be here tomorrow? We're not talking about death. We're talking about 10,000 things that can happen and deter us from fulfilling it. The now is all we have. And that's what many people miss. We have been missing this boat for millennia, thinking tomorrow, one day. And we think only old people die and we who are younger will be here forever. And we see with the pandemic that at any given point, anybody can cross over. And those who are there are beginning anew too. Think about it. Many of us think of a dream house. I don't. But I was raised by my parents, my father always saying, we'll build a dream house. We'll build a dream house. And I always found it so strange. A dream house. Because we were raised in Spiritism. And in Spiritism, it doesn't talk about dream houses. And then one day, moving from one house to the next, built the dream home with all the possible details. And then once my dad said, Vanessa, I think we need to build another one. Because there was a mistake here, a mistake there. I said, Dad, seriously. Seriously. I personally owe, as we all owe, everything to our parents. But now, as my father's discarnated, he knows better. Because the dream house is not on earth. You discarnate, it stays. You're not going to live in it forever. So why you're building it? You see the lack of wisdom in us? And then we spend our efforts, our time, building things that are perishable. There are people, on the other hand, who spend all their time and money in successive plastic surgeries till they become somebody else. You look at the news and you see many celebrities who become somebody else. You look at them like, really? Are they the same person? They don't look the same. But the body is going to go. So why do you do this? Who do we become in the afterlife? When we change the physical, do we change the spiritual body? Good question, right? So where should we invest? People talk about retirement. And I've seen people who talk about retirement believing that they are going to reach retirement and enjoy the 10,000 things. But Vanessa, shouldn't we save money, be provident? Yes. But are you sure you're going to reach that? Because I've seen a spiritist who was the president of a spiritist center saying to me, Vanessa, I will dedicate myself more to spiritism when I retire. I didn't ask anything. I don't know why he was saying that to me. He retired. He got to know he had cancer. In a year, he passed away. Had everything materially. Living here in the United States, near Washington, D.C. I know a great speaker in Spiritism who said, when I retire, I will do this, that, and the other. He retired, had a stroke. No time. Vanessa, I didn't come to the center to hear bad news. I want the good news. Me too. Me too. Me too. But Jesus says, blessed are the ones who are afflicted. Does it mean we need to be in affliction? No, we can't find afflictions. We need to get out of our afflictions. So today we're going to talk about earthly trials. Why are we here on earth? To build a dream house, to do the 10,000 plastic surgeries, to save a lot of money thinking that we're going to give to our children, grandchildren, and this and that and the other, and something happens. Nothing of our planning succeeded. Wonderful. Because in this life, it's not supposed to be this way. Of all lives we have lived, for us, especially on earth nowadays, in the 21st century, and especially spiritists, you bet that those material dreams will not succeed. I know if we say this out loud to the world, people are going to cast 10,000 stones on us because there are Christians preaching that Jesus will give you the money that you want, the promotion you want, the family that you want. But Jesus never promised that. He said, my kingdom is not of this world. Does it mean I can't live in this house? I can't have that car. I can't have that job. I can't use jewelry, can't paint my nails? No, you can. As long as you don't put your heart in that. As long as we don't live our lives daily thinking, believe it or not, I don't know if you guys know, but there are people who are so fascinated about nails that they spend their days every day and they are not in the business, but they are crazy about nails and details on nails. I know people like this. And that's their daily bread, the making off of manicure. For some others, it's about investment. They can't open a computer without going straight to the thing and see things up and down, up and down, up and down. And then, oh my gosh, oh no, today's a bad day. What happened? The sun's not up. No, the sun is up, but the things are down. Oh, my stocks. I'm so sorry for you that your heart is in your stocks. For our children. As a psychologist said the other day, the frustrations in childhood are already preparing for the frustrations in adulthood. If they go to school and they put their hearts in those ephemeral relationships in school, thinking that that's it, they're not going to succeed in adulthood. They have to grow above it and say, you go to school to do what you need to do. Yesterday, a teenager came to me and said, I don't like work. And I said, why not? As if I don't know why, right? Because it's understandable. Of course, we want to play, we want to do other stuff. It's understandable. I said, why? Because it's a lot. Then I asked, what do you expect to do with your time? Oh, I wanted to be with friends and this. I said, I understand you. But if you don't shift your expectations, you'll be upset till the last day of school. And you're just deterring yourself from enjoying life. Instead, do not resist. You have to do it, embrace it. You see, it goes faster. Because if you resist, you write a line and you're like, oh. And you spend 45 extra minutes just reacting to the homework. You have to do it, you want to do. You have to do it, don't want to do. Just look at it and say, I'm going to love you for 15 minutes. Focus. Look at it as a challenge. And I keep looking at the lives of people on earth who maximize their experiences. Because we keep looking at religious people, but we need to look at people who become role models for us in 10,000 ways. And I've said to some of you, but I'll repeat to others who don't know. Like, you see this most famous man in the world, Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a soccer player. He's the most famous person. He has more followers in social media than anybody else. Why? Only God knows. I don't know. But you keep following him and knowing his life. And you see he is a missionary in his own way. When he lost the World Cup with Portugal, what did he do? Did he cry and went on escape? No. He went straight to a club that embraces him, Real Madrid, to train. That's the mind of a winner, not a whiner. That's why this man is who he is. He's totally different. He's not there crying, oh my gosh, I wish my dream. He's like, okay, let me see the next challenge. He went straight to train at 37, which is considered old in soccer. Is he done? No. He moved to Saudi Arabia and people criticized him. And you think he's there just for the bucks? He has a strategy. He said, I want everything in Europe, and now I have another plan. And now, if you go to Instagram, his team in Saudi Arabia has more followers than all the other teams in Europe. Why? Because of him. And we're talking about fame? No, we're talking about his life. Look at his life. His first son, who is young, is now playing Real Madrid. And he has scored 50 goals in 20 matches. So we're not talking about the person who became famous. We're talking about somebody who really strives for excellence. And when you talk about Jesus, you're talking about excellence. He's not a mediocre soccer player. He's the soccer player, making history, showing to us that the limits are unlimited. We are not limited. He has plans, and we admire him for that. He's literally making lemonade out of lemons. When people are criticizing, he's excelling. He couldn't play in his first soccer match in Saudi Arabia because he was banned for 2 games when he was playing in England. The rule is the rule. He can't play for 2 matches until the ban is lifted. What is he doing while his team is playing? He's there training in his bike, watching and cheering for his colleagues. Everything extraordinary, out of the ordinary. He's not home, chillaxing, saying, I already got it. No, he's really going to another level that nobody expects. And people are watching and are following, even us. I'm not a super soccer fan, but he is certainly somebody who is working the laws of God, law of progress. When people think, this is it, he said, not quite. I have more to give. And not only him, he's preparing the continuation in his son. He has vision. he is applying himself in the law of work given by God. When we're like, I had enough. He's the only soccer player who reached billionaire status, and yet he's not relaxing at a beach and thinking of his training. He's doing the next thing. Our planet Earth has its limitations, has its tests. That's what we're going to talk about today, and Kara's going to help us with that. Just like Cristiano Ronaldo, there are people who see that there are no limits to progress. We only limit ourselves if we do not apply ourselves to the laws of God. And after worshiping God, there's the law of work. To be useful, to be engaged, to be always committed. What is the next level for me to reach in the excellence of my life? There's always another level of excellence to achieve. In our lives, as the new year begins, and we're going to study about earthly tests, and we are only going through tests because we are in a school, progressing. The question to all of us in this new year is, what are the new frontiers of my life that I want to break through? Even if the odds are pointing to another direction, we need to excel. And excel not for the world to see. We're talking about inner excellence. Excel in immortal capacities that will carry through immortality. Let us meditate on this as Carol helps us with a beautiful study on these earthly trials.
Shall we turn the television?
Yeah, let me turn it on.
So, friends, on Earth, we tend to think of tests sometimes as things that frighten us. We see this in schools with teenagers and children. Oh my gosh, why do we have to go through tests? Why? What if I get a B? What if I get a C? What if I don't make it? But we are being invited, especially through the light of the promised consoler, to be honored that God trusts us enough to give us tests. Tests are a sign that God trusts us and has hope on us, knows that we can progress. The reason we go through tests is because God knows that we can do better. God knows that it is time for us to acquire a new immortal value, virtue. So God says, come on, I will grant you this challenging opportunity to acquire patience, for instance. And what do we do even though we are in the body of adults? We say, oh no, we don't want to do it. Why is this happening to us? Why us? And God is saying, because I love you, because I believe in you, because I know you can do it. Like Cristiano Ronaldo, God is saying, let us train more. Let us take ourselves to the other level, to another level. How do we know that we are ready to develop new spiritual muscles? Only by undergoing tests. So this morning, we are being invited to shift our perception of tests rather than shooing them away and saying, why us? And placing ourselves in a victim position. Let us say, thank you, God, in an attitude of gratitude. Instead, because God loves us so much that God wishes for us to progress, so much so that this is a universal law. And we would like to bring a beautiful, living example of a spirit who embraced the divine laws and lived by it every breath and every step that he took. Our beloved Chico Xavier. We will be inspired by him by taking the liberty of sharing one true account of his life that we wouldn't know were it not for a book entitled Beautiful Cases of Chico Xavier. So we know now, thanks to the author of this book, Beautiful Cases of Chico Xavier, Lindos Casos de Chico Xavier in Portuguese, that one day he was peacefully and dutifully working at his center in Minas Gerais, which Leandro had the opportunity to visit, right, Leandro? It's real, it's there. So he was there working dutifully, and some people come in feeling very exacerbated. Why? Because they saw a blind elderly person who had just been run over by a car because the person who was guiding the elderly man was under the influence of alcohol, lost his balance, and the man had an accident. Because he was temporarily unsheltered, he had no one that could care for him. So what did the people think? Oh, Chico Xavier. Let us bring this man to Chico Xavier. Pause. Let us put ourselves in that position. Imagine, friends, we are here at the Spiritual Center. Somebody knocks at the door right now and brings in a wounded, elderly, unsheltered man and says, could you guys please help us because he has no one to count on? What would we do? Hopefully, we would embrace that person, stop the talking and go into action like Chico Xavier. But in life, what do we do usually? What is our quote unquote comfort zone? It is to say, oh, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll help tomorrow. Sometimes we have beautiful ideas of a phone call that we could make, of a note that we could write, of a friend that we could reach out to, and we say, no. Our to-do list is going 3 miles long, so no. Tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next week, the next week becomes next month. Next month becomes next year, but not Chico Xavier. What did Chico Xavier do? He attended to this person right away. He rented a small room nearby, though he had very scarce financial resources. That was a test from God to Chico Xavier, saying what? Chico, can you love the universal family? Can you love someone whom you don't know and who cannot give you anything in return? Was he applauded by the world? No. people thought, oh my gosh, Chico Xavier is crazy. Look at what he's doing. And not only did he pay for shelter for that man, but he volunteered to care for the man's wounds out of the kindness of his heart. However, he couldn't stop working materially because he needed to survive. So what did he do next? He put an ad on the newspaper at the time because there was no internet. And he asked for someone to help care for the elderly person during the day. For some time, no one responded. But after a while, two women who dedicated themselves to nightly business volunteered. Another scandal. How could Chico Xavier accept to be surrounded by people who did that kind of a job? What would we say? Sometimes we ourselves say, oh no, we're not going to talk to that person. Look at the way they dress. Look at the way they talk. Look at the food they eat. Oh, they're so strange. We are so quick at labeling people and thus creating a barrier between them and ourselves, believing that we are superior somewhat. What did Chico Xavier do? The opposite. He saw them as children of God. So he welcomed them for caring for the elderly person during the day as he worked. When he came back at night to take his shift caring for the elderly man, what did Chico Xavier do? Did he simply thank the women? No, he prayed with them. But what was his prayer like? A formula that he said just merely for saying, for show? No, he actually felt what he was saying. He learned to love the women who cared for the elderly men with his heart as sisters of his in spirit. Oh, but Carol, this is just a prayer. Not so much, because the women felt so enveloped by Chico Xavier's genuine fraternal love for them that they decided to quit their jobs, move to a new city, and renew themselves. It wasn't January 8th, the beginning of the year for them, like it is for us, but they most certainly renewed themselves. It was a new year, a new life, a new beginning. Why? Because Chico Xavier infused them with hope and true love. Not the romantic love that Hollywood makes us think about, but the love that God has for each and every one of us. Love for other children of God. Pause. Oh, Carol, come on. This is just Chico Xavier. He's way up there. We cannot get there. But we, dear friends, are reincarnated to get there. Question for us. How willing and able are we at this moment to look at everyone in our lives, including the ones that are closest to us, and see them as children of God? Can we see them as our brothers and sisters in spirit? How do we know? Usually we refer to our relatives most specifically as my this, my that. Fabiana is my friend. Felipe is my friend. Paula, for sure, my friend. So that shows that my circle is very, very, very small. Our circle is still not expanded to the level that God allowed us to reincarnate for. So are we able to say instead of mine, our expands the circle? And Chico Xavier saw everyone as part of God's family because he lived a God-centered life. Another therapeutic question for us, are we willing to invite God into our relationships as Chico Xavier has done? How do we know? Do we think of God before a conversation, before a meal, when we wake up in the morning? We have to practice exercising those spiritual muscles for immortal acquisitions. Our dream now is to dream of immortal acquisitions. So let us break down the immortal acquisitions that Chico Xavier brought to us, just in that one instance of the case that we just described. Instead of worrying about how the world would perceive him if he took a homeless man under his wing, he focused more on giving of himself than on receiving. Many people may have thought, oh, silly Chico Xavier, why are you going to put yourself at risk? How do you know that that person doesn't want to rob you? How do you know that they don't have second intentions? Chico Xavier did not judge. He just embraced people. So let us ask ourselves, are we able to give of the best in our hearts to others? This depends on how much we label others. God is inviting us to see others just with one label, and that is child of God. All the other labels we can detach ourselves from. Let us do a spiritual detox. Rid ourselves of the labels that distance ourselves from others. Chico Xavier saw no distance between himself and any other living being, because he even talked to little ants on the ground. This is why we are saying living being. So how do we get there? By not prioritizing the fleeting pleasures. Oh no, we are not going to give of ourselves now because we have A, B, and C, and D to take care of. Oh no, we are not going to give of ourselves now because this person is this and that and that and the other. Oh no, we're not going to give of ourselves now because what if the world is not going to understand us? Chico Xavier took another route. The route was that of loving other people truly. We see here a true picture of Chico Xavier kissing the hands of this child in the Spiritist Center that was in his home. Did he do that just because that child looked beautiful and is adorable? We are sure. No, he actually did that to every single person that came to see him. And he was up, said Geraldo Lemos Neto, until 4 a.m. every Saturday, when he kissed the hand of every person that was there in line to see him. He was not worried about what people were going to think of him. He was not worried about being tired. Sometimes his eyes were shedding blood, but still, he was there. Because he knew that before God, giving is more important than receiving. Because he prioritized giving rather than receiving, he was and still is for some an outlier before society. Till this day, there are people that don't understand Chico Xavier, that think that he was crazy. He used to give 50 cents to people in line waiting for one piece of bread. And people used to tell him, come on, Chico, how is this going to change the lives of others? Even his father criticized him for the work that he did. So he was an outlier even in his home. But he was faithful to God, because the first law is to worship God, and he worshiped God through service. He also saw everyone as eternal spirits. So when he looked at those questionable women, and we put that kindly in quotes, he didn't see them as questionable. He saw them as spirits destined to progress and to be truly joyful in God. And he believed that so much that without words, he changed their lives just by being together with them. And Chico Xavier felt the joy of being useful. And this is a sign that we are aligned with God's laws. Because as Vanessa said, the second of God's laws is the law of work. And work is not work just to pay our bills. Work is to make ourselves useful to God through others. And Chico Xavier has done this every second of his life. Here we see him with Dona Aparecida in a home that was charitable and attended to many, many people. He spent every second of his life dedicating himself to others. Oh, Carol, but this is unattainable. Unattainable only if we continue embracing excuses. I have to take care of my family first. I have to take care of myself first. How about retirement? How about my boss? You don't know, Carol, the kind of work that I do. How about our aunt? How about our uncle? How about our grandmother? How about this and that and that? Question for us is, we have spent millennia holding on to excuses like crutches. When are we going to let go of them? God is awaiting. When are we going to set ourselves free? Setting ourselves free does not depend on our husband, our wife, our children, our boss, our career, our promotion, our car, our dream home. Setting ourselves free is an inner commitment, an inner decision to be with the Christ. And this is what is written in every one of our reincarnatory plans. Everyone, especially us, spiritists. For 2,000 plus years, we have been walking on crutches. The crutches of our excuses. God is saying, come on, walk. You have the Christ ahead, awaiting. Chico Xavier walked straight onto the arms of the Christ. He is no different than us before God. For God, we have the same potential and more. This is why Christ, our model, has said, let your light shine. But why, friends, are we withholding the light? Why are we still holding on to the millennial excuses? Why don't we set ourselves free? This is the question for us. Usually, it's because we are not willing to sacrifice. Usually, we say, we know that car, that Tesla is not as important, but come on, we've been dreaming about it. We know that house is not going to bring us lasting happiness, but come on, it's our dream. The next generation, we hear this discourse a lot. The next generation will take the torch forward. Here's our crutch. The next generation. Why? Because we are selfish. We are not willing to let go. Let go of the dreams of the world. We are too comfortable because we have a crutch to hold on to. And God is saying, walk. I believe in you. And we still say, no, I want my crutch. We are only going to truly walk the day we decide on the inside to be selfless. That doesn't matter if our neighbor understands us, if our husband understands us, if our wife understands us, if our parents understand us, if our whole country understands us. Probably they will not. Almost 100% sure they will not. Great. Because this is true sacrifice. If everyone were applauding us, it would not be sacrifice. And we would still be weak. Why are we here now? Why are we the workers of the last hour? Because God believes we can build those muscles. So the question for us is, for how long are we going to be holding on to the crutches? Hopefully not long, because Master Jesus has been calling us and calling us and calling us for 2023 years. Chico Xavier accepted the call and lived a Christ-centered life, walking towards the Master. How about us?
And I remember just a while ago when Kara used to be living in Delaware. Working comfortably at the University of Delaware.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortably.
Super comfortable.
But her dream was to be here at the Spiritual Side of Virginia. After 7 years, and forgive me for saying, I know you don't want me to say, but I have to say it. Sorry to say this in front of you. I'm not going to wait for you to die, so I say this. Because people usually say these things and people die.
Right.
For goodness sake, we need to say it. And this is no vanity, just an encouragement. Because remember, every time I live almost around the corner from the center. And there are days, family and things and work and stuff. And though I love the center, and then I said, man, I have to be in the center before Kara because she's coming from Delaware. And she was not coming comfortably in a car. In first years, yes, and then later, lift, and then train, and all the way here. And there are people who live around the corner, 20, 30 minutes from here, and they think it's far. Wow. And Kara didn't do this for a year, a month. She did this for 7 years. And finally, God said, okay, go live there. And now she's living here, thank God. She got a job and is here. In her conditions.
And I don't live around the corner,
And you don't yet live around the corner.
but I love it.
Yes, but you're here in Virginia. And why we're saying this? Because sometimes we live so close and we have a car. Unlike her, she doesn't have a car. She can't have a car. And I could say more, but I shouldn't say more than this. Because when she shows the crutches that she uses, she's reminding of the crutches that are invisible to us, but we are using. Unlike her, because she's using the crutches to progress. But she's reminding us of the crutches we are using to deter our march. I remember when I became a mother, having to be in the center, being a mother, breastfeeding, and this and the other, it never deterred me from coming. Because Mentor Joseph said, if you attempt to escape the center because of motherhood, you're giving a bad example to people. That being a mother is incompatible to your commitment with the Christ. So every time we as spiritists, because I see in this room no new face, no beginner in spiritism, we know enough to commit ourselves to excellence, because Jesus is the master of excellence. There's nothing he did, he's done, that was not excellent. And he's calling us to our excellence. We need to leave our ordinary ways to become real humans, achieving new levels. Looking at ourselves in the mirror and saying, I can do this and much more because Jesus said it. You can do what I did and much more. And he didn't say it one day, maybe one day. He said it 2,000 years ago. So we're late, basically. You bet we're late because we were already on earth when he came. And we're still stumbling, undecided, hesitant. Oh, I love the earth. Dreaming of heaven. And some are not even dreaming of heaven. They're dreaming of earthly things. We are being called to what we don't know we're capable of. The good spirits are ready to teach and coach us. They always say, I'll coach you. Like I was telling friends before we started this session, using our hands and our mind occupying all the time to the point. I remember once I was swimming, doing exercises, and my mind was unoccupied because my arms were swimming. And Mentor Joseph came and said, Vanessa, why don't you do exercises with your mind while you're swimming? And he said, but I'm going to drown because I'll be distracted. He said, no, you better make an effort. I said, that's hard. He said, well, that's a challenge. Swim with your arms and legs and work with your mind. Affirmations. Pray while you're swimming. That's new to me, right? Pray while you are doing something with your hands. Because every time we take a shower, observe how we take a shower. Usually we don't take a shower with good thoughts. Observe it. Because Mentor just asked me to observe myself and I observed it. It's usually thinking about things we need to do, things we did, things other people did, the problems, the things. We're not, the soap is not cleaning us up. So go take a shower. Use the hands to clean the body. Use the mind to cleanse our spiritual body, our energy field. Always challenging ourselves to new levels of things we don't know. That's why Felipe wisely brought to us this message by Joana de Angelis. Study, because in study, we're going to know the capabilities we have and we didn't know, especially when we, not only, but especially when we study the Spirit's books, the Spiritist books. It's a new year, new challenges, and to think we're capable of things that are extraordinary, especially in the heart, like Chico Xavier, of loving, of forgiving, of understanding, of liberating ourselves from old conditionings. We have 10,000 reasons to rejoice. I'm talking about rejoice, we have music, because we're so lucky, so blessed to have Leandro here with us, and he's going to play so we can prepare for the next moment of passes and prayer, right? What a blessing for us.
How sweet the sound, say a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now is blind. But now I see His grace that God my heart and grace my fears. How precious that grace hour I first believed. And dangers, toils, and snares have already God's grace that brought His saved grace. And shine sun. If no last day to see God's grace when first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. So blind, but now I see. but now I see. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena. Dominus tecum, in mulieribus benedictus, benedictus fructus ventris tui, Jesus.
So,
I'll sing it again. One more time. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena. Benedictus fructus ventris tui.
você quer deixar suas coisas ali? Let us think of Jesus as our friend. He brings his light to us. You want to sit back Let us think of Jesus, who is our best friend on earth, visualizing his light, giving us new energies for strength and calm. You finished your bracelet. You finished your bracelet. Great. Kiss it over here. Wait. Squish. You're right. Where are they? Let us think of Jesus, who is our best friend. He gives us his light, his protection, his empowerment of love.
Very sacred, let me bring your love. Raising dream of pardon, there is thou to faith me. Make me a channel of your peace. There's despair in life, let me bring hope. Darkness, only light. Sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never see so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love without my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. Pardoning that we are pardoned, giving to all men that we receive, and denying that we're born to eternal life. O Master, grant that I may never see Like to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love without my soul. Let me a channel of
Let us close our eyes, feeling the presence of our spiritual guides and Master Jesus himself. Let us raise our thoughts to the Creator of our lives. Dear loving God, you who created us, you govern our lives and you provide us, dear God, everything that we need each and every day. We are so thankful for the blessings of this reincarnation, for having the opportunity to start anew, facing the challenges that we so much like children complain and ask. But please forgive us, Father, because we still don't know what to ask for. And you know exactly what we need. You know the tests that we need to go through to go on to the next level. You know the relationships that we need to foster and reconcile. You know exactly what we need in each and every moment. Please, God, let us build up our faith to trust in you and your designs. Give us strength to be your light in this world. We pray for those who are in much greater need than us, those whose challenges are surpassable and unimaginable by each and every one of us. Let all of them be visited by your messengers of light at this moment, so that they can feel relief and love. We pray that everyone on earth can receive your blessings, knowing that they are loved by you. Thank you, dear God, for this blessed opportunity, and let us not take it lightly, improving ourselves to help those around us and to help you, God, fulfilling your love on earth. And with much gratitude in our hearts, we ask your permission to close this meeting of today, and so be it. Friends over the internet, thank you for joining us, and we will see you here next time.
I finished. You finished yours?